Hello and good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Welcome to another Saturday afternoon. It's bright and sunny outside, and of course, it's quite hot by Pune standards. I don't know how about you. So, how are you? And welcome to another uh, session of my Instagram live on learning from life experiences. So, before I move forward, I just want to say that we are towards the end of the financial year, as they say. Today is 29th of March and 31st March is the end of the financial year and beginning of a new year. So many people must be busy in uh, closing their accounts and starting up new things. And so, hi Nita, welcome. Hi Jyoti, are you there? Have you joined? Yes, yeah, Jyoti is there. Hi Jyoti, welcome. How are you?
Hello, Colonel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you. I hope my audience can also see us and hear us. So, welcome. As I was telling them, this is the we are towards the end of the financial year, closing year and closing. Everybody in the financial markets is must be busy with closing the accounts and balancing the account books, balance sheets, and everything to so that they end on a good high and then start off the new financial year with a bang. And so that is how it is happening. So, how's life been with you, Jyoti? How's everything?
So, whenever anyone asks me this question, it is not good. It is amazingly awesome.
Wow, good, amazing, amazing. And my answer is amazing as always.
Great.
Somebody asks me about that. So, Jyoti, so today we both are collaborating here and together to make life amazing for our audience. And as I had mentioned in my uh, trailer or promo of the Insta Live for this week, we were talking about weathering the storms. So we are going to talk about that. But before we do that, can you tell us and our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. That's my favorite job. Okay, so by education, I'm a lawyer. I practiced for 5 years in Calcutta High Court. Post that, I relocated to Mumbai. I worked for top US MNCs for 15 years of my life. That was in mortgage, hospitality, and lastly, it was insurance. So all these 15 years I have learned a lot, and during the end of the last organization I was working, I had this realization that there is a calling to help these people who are feeling stuck in their day-to-day jobs, what we call in business language BAU, that is business as usual.
Yeah.
So I want to help them because the struggles that I've seen in my life, definitely I am creating an impact to them.
That's really great, Jyoti. And let me tell a little bit about myself also to our audience. So, as all of you know, I am Colonel Aditya Singhal, having served in the Indian Army for 33 years. I'm a tankman by heart and by profession. And now, in my second innings, I've decided to become a mind hacker and a mindset shift coach. And towards that end, I have started this series of my Instagram lives. It's been almost 3 months now, and uh, I believe that I am doing my bit to uh, bring topics for discussion which many people find it difficult to discuss with their own friends, family members, or colleagues for whatever reason. So here it is a independent platform where no one is judging you, no one is you know asking you questions as to why do you think the way you think or the why do you speak the way you speak. And it also at times gives a as we all you would agree with me, Jyoti, in our coaching community we said that it rubs off on others, like many people who are silent observers who suffer in silence get motivated or oblique to take action, or the kind of action that will get them out of their situation.
Come.
which they
Mhm.
feel they are stuck in and they are not able to share those things with others. However, so we also at times provide a voice to those people. So moving forward, Jyoti, let's come to the subject at our hand. What in your mind is a storm, especially personal storm? We all know what is a storm, literal meaning or climatic meaning, but when it comes to people weathering personal storms, so what does that mean to you?
Okay. So basically, from my understanding, from my experience that I have experienced in corporates, it can be job satisfaction, it can be no growth opportunities, no personal development, it can be, clashes that is being faced at a family front, wherein it is with your spouse, with your father, mother, with your children, grandchildren, and all these things. So these things are the personal storm. Instead, you need to take care of this front as well, and at the same time you need to take care of your job or business, whatever you're doing. So personal is having a work life balance, wherein even though there is a lot of things that you have to take care at the personal front, but at the same time you cannot risk your work front as well.
Mm, absolutely. So I agree with you on that part. And being in the army, we had this unwritten rule or unspoken understanding that we never mix our work with our personal life.
Hmm.
So whatever is happening at workplace, the moment I am at home, that thing is left there. Nothing. I don't talk about my work at my home. So
Hmm.
that time I am fully focused on my family, my children, my other responsibilities, and in spite of whatever is happening at my work front, I do not allow that to interfere with my personal life, or even like if I had a bad day at office, or if I had an argument with a colleague, or if a boss, or indifferences, or I had to shout or at my subordinate for something which he was supposed to do and he did not do. So I did not allow that to in any way reflect in my personal life. So when I come back home, my family would not know that what kind of storm I have weathered in my workplace. So that is something
Hmm.
which we learned in the army. And one more thing we realize is that if we keep your work separate and your personal life separate, it helps you maintain that balance where what you were
Hmm.
talking about, work-life balance. And there are many
Hmm.
things which are happening at a workplace which are not supposed to be discussed or spoken about at your home, because these are certain confidential
Hmm.
matters. Like same time, you being a lawyer by profession would be much more aware
Hmm.
about these things. So
Hmm.
this is what we felt, that uh, we should never mix these two things. And if we are able to maintain that decorum, or we keep that dividing line very clear, then it
Hmm.
becomes much more easier to for you to weather any kind of storm that you are going through at your workplace or in your personal life. Similarly, taking to a corollary to that, if you are having a bad day at home, if you wake up in the morning and you had an argument with your partner, and when you go to office, you do not allow that moment to interfere your mood at workplace. So
Hmm.
there you do what you're supposed to do, and your colleague or nobody would know what happened at home. So that is something which I felt, and where that is what how we were brought in the army, and that enabled us to maintain that kind of a balance, work-life balance, and also peace of mind, and not allow the personal storms to affect our life directly
Hmm.
or indirectly.
Hmm.
How
Hmm.
how did you go about doing or facing these kinds of issues in your workplace or in your life?
Yes, Colonel, I was about to interrupt you because in army, discipline is so much, and
Yeah.
that has been inculcated from the very beginning. But when we talk about corporate life, it is so much different. You are at your Just a moment. Okay, just a moment. Can you hear me, Colonel?
Yeah, I can hear
Colonel,
you.
can you? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
I just got a call and it was not supposed to be, but then, okay. Okay. So, when we talk about the corporate world, it is so different and it is so difficult when we talk about the discipline you have in army and the sort of culture that we live in. There are times when people say in corporate that you have to leave whatever is in your mind from the personal front, you have to leave at the entry of the office. But that is not at all possible, right? And there comes the role of your mastermind people or the people you spend time with in organizations, right? If you spend time with people who are always disturbed, talking negative and this that, they kind of give masala to that thing. Yeah, your boss is toxic. Yeah, actually your boss is toxic. He doesn't talk to anyone nicely and all these things, negative things. But when you are surrounded by a group of people who are always elevating you, who are always talking towards growth, so those sort of people you have to be surrounded by, so that you can spread positivity, take positivity. You don't go in that negative zone wherein you get into stress, trauma, and a lot of negative stuff. So that is something that you need to be very mindful of.
Yeah, that is there. And so another thing which I would say important point that you brought out is that yes, corporates or even in the private sector or in the government jobs, the kind of discipline that we are used to in the armed forces is not there. And actually, at times we found when we used to go to government offices, we used to wonder as to how are these people functioning. And
Hmm.
there was so much of uh, sloth, and the way they used to work was totally mind-boggling for us. But yes, one has to be mindful of these things, and one has to be mindful of the people who are around you, who are creating that kind of toxic environment, whether it is at your workplace or at the,
Exaggerating,
yes,
exaggerating. If it
yes,
is at
exactly.
10%, they will make it to 80%.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And one more thing which I realized, which I would like to share with our audience is like when we were youngsters in the unit, when I joined my unit, we were youngsters, they were full of joy, full of energy, and we used to get lots of work to do, both at normal routine office work. In addition to that, we even uh, extra curricular activities. We had to play sports. We had to participate in everything with our men training and everything. And if for some reason your boss uh, got angry at you, the commanding officer or your squadron commander gave you good, and he as we say in body language, he bullshitted you for something which you did not do right or did not do correctly. So our best way was to, in the evening, we would just raid his house and we'll tell his wife, ma'am, khana banao, and we'll have a drink with him and we'll forget about everything. And next day again, you'll start with scratch, which I found so army in the unit, it was like a one big family wherein even I remember my commanding officer in the morning, when you're at office, he'll give you a very, very tough time and
Mhm.
bully you, threaten you, everything so that you do what you're supposed to do properly. But in the evening, he'll call you at your home, and there he's like a father, and his wife is like a mother figure. So they're like beta, and they actually treat you like kids. So that's why we used to call him the old man. So that was the kind of bonhomie and family kind of a relationship which we had, because we were all away from our real families. We were in our,
Mhm.
and once you join your armed forces, your unit is your first family, because these are the people who are
Mhm.
going to be with you when you are in the battlefield.
Mhm.
Your driver and your gunner is the only person who is going to help you if you get injured. There's nobody else, nobody is
Mhm.
coming from home to support you that time. They can only
Mhm.
worry sitting at home what happened. So this kind of bonding which was created in the armed forces is missing in the corporate culture and even in the government private offices. And wherein there was hardly any interaction between the families of people or otherwise. Whereas now things have changed, and they're more born homey. So that was another, I would say, factor which helped her. And one more thing which you mentioned was the discipline. So more than
Mhm.
discipline is the self-discipline which helped us control
Exactly. Right.
our mind and
Mhm.
control our thoughts,
Mhm.
which again is
Correct.
missing outside. Which again is missing
Mhm.
outside.
Mhm.
Later on, I realized when we were in National Cadet Corps, we were training the cadets. The
Mhm.
focus was on self-discipline
Mhm.
as part of your life, as your DNA. And once you are able to become self-disciplined, everything else will fall into place. So that
Right.
was about
Correct.
what I experienced. However, you mentioned that you were a lawyer, then you worked in a corporate job, and then you again decided to leave that job
Mhm.
and do something else. So
Mhm.
obviously, you must have weathered a lot of storms in all these things which you had
Mhm.
been doing in your life. So can you just
Mhm.
share a little bit about your journey as to what are the things which helped you
Mhm.
handle the kind of pressures and the storms that you were facing in your life?
Yes, Colonel, yes, I was dying to tell you about this so that other corporate professionals who are feeling stuck, because coming from 15 years corporate background, I understand the struggle of these people who feel stuck and stagnant in their job. They're only working for that paycheck, which is coming either on 26th or 30th of the month. And then what happens is 80% is being spent on home loan, car loan, bike loan, XYZ loan, personal loan, and then by 15th they are again at the same track, right? So what I used to do is when I used to get, you are supposed to, and you are for sure you are getting the negative things once in a day. But mindfulness and calmness is the way. Because, if you take everything personally, it will definitely not gonna help you, right? So you have to be composed. You need to understand that you cannot calm the storm, but if you keep yourself calm, definitely storms will go. So what I used to do is whenever I had clashes with my manager, I used to hear it out. Okay, just hear it out. And then after he is done with whatever 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever he is about to say, deadlines are not met, you were supposed to submit this project or this deliverables by this time. So I said, okay, let him, vent out. Let him vent out whatever he has to. You just need to stay calm. And after 15 minutes or 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes, that's when you approach. And I said, boss, do you think that was an appropriate way of talking to Jyoti Pandey? So that is the moment of introspection. It is not about Jyoti Pandey, it's about each and everyone. If you get into arguments at that point in time, then definitely things will go haywire. So you need to understand the complexity of situation. He is coming from a state of mind which is like disastrous. If you will respond in the similar way, you may be put in PIP, that is performance improvement plan, that you are disrespecting, disobeying, or whatever XYZ terms in corporates that we use. So when you are mindful, you are in a better position to handle whatever is going around.
Yeah, absolutely, Jyoti, and you mentioned two very important words: mindfulness and calmness. This is something.
Yes.
This is something. I got to learn these words much later in my life.
Mhm.
Like calmness, yes, I knew, but mindfulness was a new word for me, and we also realized that you have to keep calm and balance in any kind of situation that you're facing at either at your workplace or in your personal life. As you mentioned, give the example of a boss. So we also learned that when when any senior officer or anybody senior to you is talking to you and speaking to you or saying whatever he may be saying to you, it may be good, it may be bad. You have to just keep
Mhm.
quiet and listen to them. Once they are finished, then
Yes.
after that you said, okay, thank you, sir, and don't argue. The moment we uh, try to react to what is being said, then we start getting into that loop that then reaction, counter reaction, argument, counter argument, and then you try to justify what you were doing or whether right or wrong, and that breaks the calmness, that breaks the harmony, and that leads into at times very difficult situation or unhealthy situation for each of you. So
And correct.
that way, I realized that keeping calm, keeping quiet, and having developing very good listening skills, not only to listen to understand the other person, listen to uh, listen to hear what they are saying and not what we want to hear.
Right.
That is another thing which we realize is very important in order to weather these kinds of storms which are happening in your life, and these will take place. Storms will come and go, but
Yes.
how you handle them is what is more important.
And
Yeah,
Colonel, to add to this, when you react with this calmness and this mindfulness, there is a sense of respect as well. Because
yes,
after 30 minutes or 1 hour, once you will go there, this person, like I am being considered as, wow, this manager is so matured. She handles any situation so wisely and nicely. So that is another level of respect that you create. And if you went out at the same place, definitely everyone will enjoy the show. So
absolutely,
let no one enjoy the show and you enjoy your being there.
absolutely. Yeah. So Jyoti, one more thing that comes to my mind is we talked about a lot about our workplace, wherein things are slightly different from your personal life. At times, what happens is in your personal life, when it comes to your parents or your siblings or your relatives or even your partner, even though you do not want to, but still you are at times forced to by the situation, by the response or the attitude of the other person, that you are forced to react. And the moment you start reacting, then all hell breaks loose. And uh, I found I found that it is much more difficult for men than women to handle personal stuff. So, what would be your take on this?
At the personal front you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
So suppose I had a bad day at home, right? I had a bad day at a workplace and I am
Mhm.
going to my place. I have my spouse, my partner, whoever is sitting at that place. I need to be thinking about if I can have a healthy conversation or communication regarding this topic, what happened with me at my workplace. Instead of venting out, we can get into a healthy discussion if the person is coming from that space. You know, that maturity and understanding or the work culture where your spouse is and where you are working, if it inclines with, in sync. If it is not inclining, suppose someone is an actor and I work in an IT, definitely this actor will not at all be able to communicate or converse in the same language.
Absolutely.
So at that point in time, it is advisable to keep calm, do your household chores, right? And after some time, when you are in that comfortable position, in the sense when you are having tea, dinner, or after your tea or dinner, whatever you want to have, you can have a same conversation in a very nicer way. So at that point in time, definitely this person, if he happens to be your spouse or your partner who is your life partner, right? So definitely your problem, he will be in a better position to understand. But the way it has to be communicated, it has to be very subtle and calm way. It's not that why you have not done this, why the pillows are like that, why the bed is not made, why you did not cook food. So it's not, it should not be the way. It has to be in a very calm and composed way.
Yeah. Jyoti, I agree with you on that. And one more thing which comes to my mind, which we learned from our mentor, is that the kind of language and kind of words that we use with others,
Right.
whether it is a
Hmm.
normal conversation or whether it is in terms of conflict or difficult situation, that also matters a lot. Because
Hmm.
at times the what you say is not hurting the other person as much as the way you are saying or the way you are conveying your thoughts or words to the other person. And
Yes.
that is again very important. And Nasiha says some
It's the
also say
same
men
thing.
don't share as much as women do. Yes, I personally feel that it is very easy for women to share and vent out their feelings to their partner compared to a men. And
And also, Colonel, and also to hold on to that,
yeah,
hold on the feeling, because it will hamper the family relationship. So women are so smart in holding on to that as well. See the appropriate time and then react and then talk or then discuss. That is also important.
yeah. And Anushri says when we have bad day, we need to work in silence because when we speak, when we have a bad day, it may lead to clashes. So how to overcome that? So
Right, I'll
Jyoti,
tell
would you
you.
like to answer
Yeah,
Anushri's query?
yeah.
Yeah.
Correct, Colonel. Yeah, basically, when you do not have anyone around you had a bad day, you have to be with yourself, enjoy every moment, whatever you're doing, be it eating, be it walking in the nature, be it having a conversation with someone, whatever you're doing, you need to be mindful of that, right? So, it is said that that is a statement of Sadhguru. If you are alone and if you are getting bored, that means you are in a bad company. So, if you yourself are not able to enjoy your company, how the hell do you expect others to enjoy your company, dude? Come on, give me a break. So, you cannot make others happy or you cannot expect others to give you that happiness. Your source has to be from internal, not external. If it is based on external sources, you are more likely to be sad most of the times. So, in every life, everyone's life, 80% problems, I understand. 20% good things. Are you able to enjoy those 20% things so that those 20 can get converted to 80 and those 80 can get converted to 20? So, if it is something is coming from internal, it tends to make you happy, it tends to give you joy, it tends to give you fulfillment. If it is dependent on my spouse, he talked to me like that, my mother, she talked to me like that, definitely they have their own space, they have their own aura, generation, everything. But why are you justifying them? Justify yourself, justify your
Absolutely.
actions, justify whatever you are doing.
Absolutely. And yes, Jyoti, and I'll also agree with Nasia. Nasia, you're right. As we say in our coaching language, state change is the right thing, what we have learned, because if we are in a good state, we can, or a very good state, we can weather any storm very calmly and very peacefully without getting affected by what is being said to us. And however, if we are in a average state, then we will definitely get affected by it, and we will react also accordingly. So
So
when
now,
I am in a
Colonel,
good state, I will respond. Whereas if I am in average or below average state, I'll react. And every reaction will lead to equal and opposite counter
Newton's third
reaction.
law.
Newton's
Right. So, Colonel,
law.
now that you touched an important topic of average state, good state, very good state, awesome state. Okay. So, just for normal people, because you have mentored a lot of people in our mastermind, in our coaching community. So, this is a question from a guest to a host. What do you think from if someone is at the bad state or an average state or just average state, how can they pull their state from average to good or very good?
Hmm. So the best thing is to firstly you have to be aware about your states. You have to be aware about those triggers that keep you in a good state or a bad state or average state. And once you are aware, you will be able to identify the trigger which is putting you down into a bad state or a average state, and you will immediately realize, no, this is not good for me. Because if I remain in this state, it will mean disasters. I have to get out, and you will immediately get out of that and go back to your good state. And you and I and Sia and many other coaches who are here with us right now in this live, we know the importance of the being in a good state and how it can definitely
Impact.
transform your life and uh, take you to another plane, I would
Right.
say. And
Hmm.
that is another thing which will help you weather any kind of storm or thunderstorm or any drastic situation which you're facing in your life, whether at your workplace or whether at your personal front, very easily. And
Hmm.
another thing is that here I saw somebody mention, ki, sir,
Colonel, I
can you
would
share
like to
a,
add something.
yeah,
Yeah, I will.
go ahead.
I'll just add to that particular step that you said about changing the state. It is said that, and that's what the coaching community inside CTF everyone follows. If you are feeling like not very good, lousy, irritated, or any negative state of mind for 4 minutes, just understand that is the trigger. If you are not changing that state at that moment, then it is gonna hamper or waste next 4 hours of your day.
Yeah,
So the moment you are understanding that there is a trigger, just get up, take a walk, talk to someone, just jump wherever you are, or change your physical thing, right? Once there
absolutely.
is a change in physiology, automatically there is a change here
Absolutely.
that happens.
Absolutely, Jyoti. I agree with you. And somebody wanted me to share a incident from an interesting incident from army life, wherein how we weathered a storm. So there was a particular event which we had to organize for the station for the ladies, and my commanding officer had given me the task. I was the second in command, and there was another officer who was junior to me, who was the overall in charge of that arrangement, getting the things done, because basically it was a station event being done by unit. And when the commanding officer came there and he saw the arrangement here, so obviously because it was being done for the ladies, the first lady was not very happy. So she uh, gave it good to her husband, and he in return gave it good to me and the officer who was junior to me. So what we did, we just kept quiet, and because we know that there's no point answering back. And later on, we did what we were supposed to do, and things went back. And in the evening, what happened that the officer came to my house, and we were sitting, and we had a good cribbing session, as we say in the army. Our crib, kare, so we had a good cribbing session. How could he do that and all that? And suddenly, the bell rings, and I found that somebody had sent by my CO. He said he saab saab ne bheja, and he had sent me a bottle of 100 pipers. So
Wow.
that is how he also realized his folly, and in order to set things right, he sent a this thing. So it was like a our way of sorting out things among the officers, so that we may maintain peace, tranquility, and maintain the decorum of the army without creating a scene out there in public. And we were always taught right from the beginning in the army was that when you appreciate a person, appreciate in public, but when you have to admonish somebody, then you do it in private, not in
Hmm.
public. So we have to maintain that respect and dignity of that person, because they are sort of said there would be certain people who are junior to him, and when they are observing their senior being admonished, they will not have any respect for him. So that was one rule which we always followed in the army, the armed forces rather, that when you have to appreciate anybody, even for a small thing that you do in public in front of everybody, but you have to correct somebody or give them some corrective advice or admonish them. Then we call them in your office, and in private you tell them that these are the things you did not do correctly. And there where you can go all out, blast that person totally. But in public, we used to be very careful. But in spite of that, we did come across many such bosses who did not follow or practice what they used to preach. So we had
Mm-hmm.
our share of tough and difficult seniors or bosses in our life. But now, when you look back, you take everything in good sense. And when you meet them, you jokingly
Mm-hmm.
you'd say, "Ki, sir, you remember you did that, and then we raided your house, and you had to." So you joke about it and forget about it. And one thing that reminds me that never carry anything in your head or in your mind, whatever is happening between you and the other person. Don't
Mm-hmm.
carry grudges with you. That was another thing which we learned in the armed forces. This kept us in a good state, or
Mm-hmm.
helped us now also when you're handling your personal life, as well as when you're uh, out of uniform, and in your certain lessons we also implement in the coaching journey also. And I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you also must be implementing certain things which you learned at your workplace and as a lawyer, as a corporate journey, which are standing with you now also, and which you follow whenever you are facing these kind of situation in your life.
Yes. So to add to this, Colonel, I would just like to say something. So when we talk about mindfulness, most people consider mindfulness as sitting relaxed and chanting Om. That is not mindfulness
Absolutely,
actually. Mindfulness is being present in the moment without any judgment or distraction.
absolutely,
Think about your soul, your body, and the world around us. Nurture it with love. When we talk about mindful eating, what it is, every bite that we eat is the point to savor and appreciate. Mindful walking with every step. I am proceeding towards present, not future. Because mindfulness is all about present. Like presence is the gate, present tense is the gate. Either you can choose to go forward or you can choose to go backward. It is up to you.
absolutely.
The way yeah, so mindful observation, mindful eating, mindful walking, everything, if you consider, just add that mindfulness in front of whatever you want to do, and you will find a different meaning of mindfulness. So it is up to you how you consider it.
Absolutely, Jyoti. I fully agree with you on that. Mindfulness is very, very important, and like each one of you can implement that in our life, and it is really very easy. It is not only being mindful about other people, but you also have to be mindful about yourself.
Yes.
Because at times, what happens is we forget ourselves, we don't appreciate ourselves, and we expect
Hmm.
people to appreciate it. So that is another reason which causes conflict with other people. And before we come to the end of the show, one more thing which I wanted to you to talk about is peak performance. So now we when we combine peak performance with Tom,
Hmm.
how to achieve performance during the darkest of storms in your life. So, what would be your one or two hacks to our audience as to what can they do so that they are able to maintain their peak performance in spite of uh, uh,
Hmm.
severe thunderstorms in their personal oblique professional life?
Very, very good question, Colonel. I was actually waiting for this question. You know what? What we can do? You may have realized we have certain habits or routines, right? Like I go for swimming at 6 in the morning. No matter I had a severe fight with my mom, my dad, my spouse, I have to go there, right? So that is a habit that I have inculcated over years. So that habit has formed into a routine now. Without, even if I get up at 5:30, I will have to go. No question about it. So if you are thinking that there is a storm, right? does it have to affect you each and every time? So the people, most people, successful people, if you see, they have developed themselves into a routine, into a habit, which is very positive, which is good for their soul, mind, and body. So it may be singing, it may be taking a walk in the nature, it may be basketball, football, whatever you want to do. If you get yourself involved in that moment, that means you are spending time with yourself, with nature, with people around, and you are feeling happy, blessed about that moment. So if you are feeling happy and blessed from inside, there is no external storm that has the audacity to disturb what you are up to. So that is particular one thing that will definitely help anyone who still do not have a habit of going to gym or this or that, following your passion. So even Colonel, I'll give you another example. You know, I have been working for 15 years in night shift. I had a very good layman excuse that I am doing night shift. I am really exhausted. I will not be able to follow my passion. But are 90% of the corporate professionals who are out there, they always are in that particular thought, अरे भाई साहब सुबह ऑफिस जाना है शाम को घर आना है आई एम नॉट getting time. If you are passionate about something, you will find a way. If you are not
Absolutely.
passionate, you will find an excuse. So basically, you know, you have to spend at least 30 minutes, if not in a day, make it a habit of spend at least 30 minutes every alternate day to whatever you want to do in your life, whatever excites you, whatever sparks you. If you are able to give that time, you will be able to see the shift. You are concentrating on storm, storm, storm. Your shift will be towards the positivity. What can I do next? What can I do next?
Absolutely, Jyoti. And Nasia, you are absolutely right. Buzz moments. Create buzz moments for yourself. Do
Yes.
at least 4 to 5 things in a day that you really love, you really enjoy, you really like doing. As Jyoti mentioned, whether it is singing, listening to music, watching a movie, watching your favorite show, reading a book, going for a walk, going for a run, whatever you do. But yes, if you can start creating those buzz moments on a regular basis in your life, then you will be able to weather any kind of storm which is taking place or coming in front of you. And so, thank you very much, Jyoti. Thank you for a very, very insightful and
So,
interesting
Colonel,
conversation.
I would like to send a message to the corporate managers or the top notches out there as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
The
of course.
the
Go ahead.
the conversation that we had for the professionals, how can they maintain their peace of mind?
Yeah,
So, for the managers or superiors, you know, as you have a scheduled routine or requirement to give feedback, so feedback is important, but at the same time, pat at the back, as
yeah,
Colonel said, that is equally important. If someone is doing an outstanding job, so don't consider it as business as usual. He did a great job. Acknowledge and appreciate the person in public. That is very important for growth and well-being of each and every person who is there. Thank you, Colonel.
absolutely. Very much. Thank you, Jyoti, and thank you, everyone. All our audience for coming and joining us and listening to us, and also sharing your own tips from your personal life. Thank you, especially to Nasiha, for being consistent always and being there for us. And your contribution is really, really very, very well appreciated. And also to Anushri, there's one question you had asked that how not to carry grudges because when someone blames you for silly things, because my friend was insulted because she is participating in various things which help in her personal growth. So as Jyoti mentioned, Anushri, the control or power is in your hand whether you want to get affected by that or not. So the moment you stop getting affected by other people, automatically those voices will also stop.
Hmm.
Those criticism will stop, and you will realize you will not be required to carry any grudges.
Hmm.
So it is totally in our hand how to handle criticism, how to handle appreciation, and how to handle difficult people also, whether to give importance to them or just bypass them.
Yeah.
That will happen once we start remaining in our good state, realizing what is good for us, our own. Because ultimately, you are responsible for your own personal growth, personal, physical, and mental fitness and happiness. Nobody else can
Yes.
do it for you. So the moment you
Yes.
realize and decide doing that, no power in this universe can affect you. And
Yes.
so thank you very much,
So,
Jyoti, and
Colonel,
I'm looking forward
thanks
to
a lot.
see you
I
again.
would, no, I would like to say something that, I wanted to get into your show in Q1 of 2024, and I'm blessed that today is the second last day, but I'm there.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot. So, just a one-liner to people out there: don't take failure to your heart and success to your
Yes,
head. It's a
absolutely.
journey, it's waves. So we have to go through each and everything. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Colonel. You are
Thank you,
amazingly
Jyoti.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And have a great weekend, everyone. In case you want to share something or you want to connect with me or Jyoti personally, you can always send us a message on our personal chat or otherwise. And I'm looking forward to see you again next week with another new and insightful interaction with somebody. And looking forward to see you again, Jyoti, in the next quarter. Okay, bye
Yes.
and take care. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. Stay blessed.